Okay, welcome again, guys. As we go ahead with our series of tutorials of coding the web with ICT Clubs Uganda, today we are going to write our first demo code in HTML for the first time. So let's first take a recap of the previous step of setting up our server. So this, you make sure you come back to, if you watched that video, it's also in the video series app. You can check it out and see whether we are in the same line. So check whether the server is correctly installed. Come to my computer here, then look for folder named C. Then look for a folder named XAMPP. You should find there a folder named XAMPP. So this is your web server. So you can click XAMPP control, XAMPP control. Now this one will open an interface like this, as you can see here. So we will need two things. We need to start Apache and Maestro. You can see we just click start. Mine are already up and running, so I don't need to restart again. Another step, because we need to work in a folder. So come back into your server here, come into a folder called htdocs. So inside here, create your folder that you'll be using as your project base. So here I've created one, I've named it ICT Clubs. So this is where I will be working from. So when you have done all that, now let's go ahead. As I told you, you need a text editor, and I had recommended, I went for Sublime Text. So this is my Sublime Text. You can open it. It's always in apps there. Open it and it will bring an interface like this. So now here, to make sure that we are working with our folder, you come to File, open folder. Now look for the other folder we created, which will be our directory. It's on C. Then you scroll down, you look XAMPP here, you say htdocs. Mine was ICT Clubs. You say select folder. Now it will open a new window for you, even if I close the one behind now. So this will be our working directory. Now, step one, we need our first file. So we just say File, New File. So it will open a blank file, as you can see. And by default, as the standard of the web, the first file of like the home page is always named as index.html. Are we together? So you come and save it in where? In your working directory, which in case mine is ICT Clubs. So I will save it where? In here as index.html. So I save. So now this is our working document. It's ready to go. So let's go back to our notes. So going back to this side, so we want to take a look from the start here. Introduction to HTML continued. As I had promised in the previous video, we are going to continue this video. So what is HTML? We looked at that. So tags. So tags, we also got a brief description of tags. These are essence of HTML. The essence of HTML is tags. A tag is a keyword enclosed by braces. Braces, we can call them less than and greater than for easy understanding. But in programming, they are called braces. They are opening and closing tags for many, but not all tags. The affected text is in between the tags. So let's go ahead. We are going to get to that. Nested tags. Whenever you have an HTML tag within another HTML tag, you must close the nearest first tag first. That is called a nested tag. Because you can see we have header 1, Header will close it at the end, and inside you have an italicized the nation word. So we go ahead. Structure of a web page. All web pages share a common structure. All web pages should contain a pair of HTML, head, title, and body, as you can see here. So these notes will be available on the platform, so you can always go visit and access them. So let's take our example there and we take it to our source code. So we come and we paste it there. So you can see currently now we have our HTML. Now this one means this is the start of the document, as we had seen in the previous video. The head, you can see the head section. In the head section, it's where we can find other attributes according to what we need, maybe styles. But here in this case, we define there the what? The title. So let's say this, our website we are starting on today is my first web page. So this will be our title for that page. So now when we go into the body, we had talked in the previous video that inside the body, this is where all the content will be inside here. And we looked at brief introduction, some of the tags we can always use. We looked at paragraph, which you declare by P, and you have to close it like that. We looked at ordered list, which defines a list of items. We also looked at the HR, which gives us a rule. So let's say now we go into our paragraph. We also looked at heading. We say heading, which is always a number in front. So heading will start from header 1 up to header 7. So let's say this is heading 1, and we also close it in front. So each tag, you have to open it and close it in front, with the exception of some of the tags like horizontal rule. So now let's say this is the heading. We just say maybe chapter 1. This is the heading. So now if we get this and we paste it down here, so we copy this, for example, we paste it down. You can always use Ctrl C, Ctrl V after highlighting this. So now this one we change it to header 2. Let's say header 2. In between it, we put an HR to define a horizontal line. So now in below down here, we put our paragraph. We just say, this is my first paragraph. Welcome to coding the web. Are we together? Now, inside we saw even in items here, in order list, we can define the style. We can find our items, how they will look. So we can say, inside the ordered list to have items. So ordered list, so we have a listed item. Are we clear? So we just put a listed item. We just say maybe this is 1. We put another, we say 2. We put another, we say 3. So now let's first stop at this for now. Let's first see how this page works. So you come to our web browser. We talked about the web browser in the previous video. So I come to the web browser. I showed how to access the dashboard. Currently, it has to be on localhost / my folder. Remember the folder you created, mine was ICT clubs. Just say enter. You see our title has come, my first web page, up here. As you can see, let me reduce the size so that you can see very well. You can see the title here, my first web page. You can see this is the heading 1, which we put as heading 1. You can see this size is way too bigger than this. You can see now the horizontal line, which is here. You can see it appears below chapter 1. This is a horizontal line. Then below it we have chapter 2, which is a heading 2, which is smaller than this. So if I come down here and I copy this paste it down. I say heading 4, heading 4, and I save. I come back this side and I refresh. You see now this one has become way too smaller than the heading one because they go dynamically. Because headings, they start from heading 1 up to heading 7. So it's H plus a number in front. So we looked at also paragraph. You can see this space here. It has already come down and put there a paragraph from the above text, and this one is different from the break we looked at also in the previous video. So if I just come instead of paragraph here, I continue writing it's my first coding of the web, introduced by UCC and KAWA Uganda under Ministry of Education. And I come here and I apply the other tag of break, BR. Let's see the difference, because the paragraph and the break, this one should take you to a new line, whereas the paragraph creates another paragraph below. So let's save and come and take back another look. You see, now this Ministry of Education has come below. So if you again, even you break and you say break in partnership with MUBS and NCDC. So, and I come here, MUBS, I say BR, and NCDC, I come there and I apply paragraph. So you see, this paragraph is inside this. That's what we call nested tags. So if I put a tag in here, I must close it first. So I have come there and I close it. So let's see what happens here. I come and I refresh. You see, now here I was applying break. Here I put paragraph. You see the difference? So this content is, you have to, most of the times you have to align this content for readability as we are looking in the previous video. So that someone who is on the website can know this content stops here, this is a new paragraph, so that the website can be fine. So we can modify some of these things up here. Instead of chapter 1, we say, or like my school website, or you can just put your school name. For example, here you can just say put Ginger Secondary School, for example. Then in here, chapter 1, I can say maybe our dormitories, like that. So now here you say like dom 1 in front, you just say dom 1 Kenya. So now we just say maybe this is a write-up about my dormitory. So when you come and refresh, because we also talked about content, the website should do what it's supposed to do, not just designing it for the sake. Because if it's a website for a school, it should just show this is a school. If it's a website for a hotel, it should clear state that this is for a hotel. So you have to be clear in wordings. We have looked at that. So in here between, we can just say now, for this ordered list, we can just choose to put the student names. We can say, we can use a tag of center. We are going to look at it in, actually it's on the next slide, center, so that the words that will be in here are going to be in the center. We just say our house members. Are you clear? Or our dorm members. Or our dorm members. So just said member 1 is like Isaac, Member 2 is like Idris. Member 3 is like Moses, like that. So you come here and refresh. You see our dormitory members. 1 is that, 2 is that, 3 is that. So now let's go back to our slides. We have taken a simple look on a simple basic HTML. Let's continue back with our notes. So we'll go to what they call text formatting. This is manipulating of text in HTML, and it can be tricky. Oftentimes you see what you see is not what you get. For instance, a special HTML tag can be added to create paragraphs as we saw, move to the next line as we saw, create headings as we saw. Because each tag does its specific purpose. We saw creating headings, moving to the next line, creating paragraphs. We looked at that. Because to create a paragraph, here you just simply come in your code and just say paragraph. You close paragraph. Now what you type in here, this is the paragraph. Hope we are together there. Now if you want to move to the next line, you just come into the same paragraph, or at the end you just say break, like break. So it goes to the what? To the next line. If we need a heading, for example, you just say header 2. That will be the size of it. Are you clear? You just come and say h2 close h2. That will be a heading of size 2. So this is heading, as we saw in our code here. I saw in our code here, I have header 2, header 4, header 1, putting horizontal lines, going to a new line, and also creating paragraphs. So let's continue. So text formatting tags. We have bold. This will make it strong. As you can see, this one is so thick. We have italics. This will make it look in calligraphy. We have underline. This will underline and put a line below, like you are seeing here. Then we have paragraphs. It will put a paragraph. Let's just take these the way they are. You see, let's just type them the way they are. We see the difference that will make on our website. Remember, the body tag has to keep at the most bottom with the closing tag of HTML, and up, because these ones, our content should be in between there. So we just paste what we copied to the other side. We want to see how these ones will appear on our web browser. You can see bold first has become big. This one has become like calligraphy letters, and this one has been underlined according to what? To the tag underline, italicize, bold. So we continue to the next slide. Headings. Web pages are typically organized into sections with headings. To create heading, use expression that we looked at that. Heading, then N. N is the number. It's from 1 up to 7, as you see here, where N is the number between 1 up to 7. But keep in mind, the higher you go, the size it will reduce. So header 1 is bigger than header 7. As you can see, in this case, 1 corresponds to the largest size heading, while the 7 corresponds to the smallest size. Aligning text. The aligning attribute can be inserted in a paragraph, headings, tags to justify the center, or left justify the text. For example, H1 align is got center. New York Times will create heading of the largest size and center it. Let's take it there and we'll see how it works. Most of these things you have to put them there and see them work. You can't just say you can get it in your head when you haven't put it to work. Okay? But most of these tags, you have to put them where? In quotes. The attributes. Because this is a tag, this is the attribute, and its value. So the value has to be what? In quotes. So you see, the New York Times, it has come in front. As well, you can continue and customize this. Like I've seen, you can add eye to make it look a bit bent. So you just close eye. Now that's styling. You see, it has changed a bit. You can align it to like right. That means to go to the right hand side of the page. So you see it goes the other side. So wherever you want to align, you just use a tag, its attribute and the attribute value. As we go on, they are going to become easier. This is the example we had seen. So you can even customize the color of the body. Let's say we want our page to look like yellow, for example. So we look at it instead, we just say bg color, as you can see here, is equal to black, color is equal to white. That means they will set the background of the page black, and everything inside that page, it will become white. Are we together? So let's save, we refresh. It has put that color, because I think the color code here, it's changing the color code because of the quotes. The quotes have to be real quotes. You can see. Yeah, you have to put the quotes. Not if we copy it and paste. Sometimes our keyboards, so don't usually match. Someone can be using a keyboard of like the one I was using. I'm using Quate USA. You can be using Quate or like UK. So the quotes, they find them in different places. So that quote you see here didn't become interpreted by my browser according to the language. So it changed the color to what it understood. But according to the language of my browser, that's the quote it expected. And you see our color black and text white is here. We go ahead, inserting images. So an image. So let's take an example, this image. But remember, to insert images, you have to have this image in your folder for easy access so that you don't have link problems. Because if it's not in your folder and you copy your website somewhere else, it will not work. It will still complain that the image is nowhere to be found. So it's better you come inside where you are working from, example, htdocs, ICT clubs. You can create there a folder, call it img. So inside all this img, it's where our pictures are going to be. So we just say this is logo. Okay, so we save it there. So even if when you come into our system on our editor, you see we have our logo already there, it has already been reflected. So to insert it into our web page, you can see the tag that is a standard image source is equal to that with the image extension. This is an extension. We have different types of extensions. You can have JPG, you can have PNG, you can have even JPEG, you can have GIF, you can have BMP bitmap. But for now, let's just take a look at PNG, JPG. GIF, let's not take it. I will come to it when in animations. So let's continue. We want to insert our image, let's say at the top here. So you have seen the tag for the image. You put img, then src, the source. You see it's already in there. You just press enter. Now when they bring it, it finishes it for you there in front. That's why I was like, I prefer Sublime, because it will run faster, as most of the codes it will predict for you. Image source. So you see it's in img. So we'll type img, but we have to go inside that folder. That's, we put a forward slash. So we say logo, because our image, you can see it's logo.png. Just say .png. We save. So when we come back to our browser and we refresh, you see our logo here. So we can as well choose to align this logo. Align, we just say center, as we had seen previously. So we can choose to align it to the center. Center. Refresh. You see, it just comes in the center, but you can see this color is dull. Black can't just look like that on your website. Sometimes it looks shabby. Though they say black is beautiful, but sometimes white, black websites and white color, you can see even that eye, it in your eyes, the way it responds. So, but anyway, for demo purposes, let's continue. Links. A link lets you move from one page to another, play movies and sound, send email, download files, and more. A link has three parts: destination, a label, and a target. To create a link, you just use a small tag here, this one. So we can we want to choose which one. This one. Let's say we put it where. Let's create here. We see this board. We just say here other dormitories. So in here we just say maybe Dom Kenya. So when someone clicks on Dom Kenya, it takes him to another dome called Dom Kenya. So as we have seen, to create a link, you just say a space href, you press enter. Then inside here in quotes, because you will see the structure, it's a href, then the page where the link should go and what should the user see to click on. So now we close A. So now if someone clicks here, it will take him to another DOM called DOM Kenya. So let's create that link and we test it. So just say new file. We call it Kenya.html. We save it. Now in this Kenya, let's copy all what we had done. We also transfer it here. But what we are going to do here on Domo Kenya, we are going to delete all that. We just change the title to Dom Kenya. And we delete all that so that they look a bit different. Okay, they look a bit different. So now we'll come back to our home page, which is the index. So now what we are going to do, we are going to come here where we put the href. We put this word you are seeing here. We put Kenya.html. Are you together? Then you save. We don't need this. Kenya.html. We save it. Come back to our browser. When you refresh, you see now this has become a link. Even if you put there mouse, it shows you it goes to Kenya. When you see down there, when I click there now, you see things are seen. Now it has come to Domo Kenya. So even here I can go back to this dormitory, or as well I can create another link on this Domo Kenya, take me back where I was on the home page. So we can write it here. We just say a href, press enter. We just say index.html, which is our first page here. So we just say go back home and we close our link. So when you come to Kenya now and you refresh, you see here when I click, it has come as the link. When I click here, it takes me back here. When I again click on DOM Kenya, I go to DOM Kenya. So that is navigation. How to control this flow, as we looked in the previous video of how to manage navigation so that users can easily find what they do need. So go back home, DOM Kenya, go back home. You can add as many links as you prefer. So here, let's go back home and we create another link here. You can just copy this or type it afresh, because to create a link is something simple. You just say now this one goes to tz.html. We just say .tz. So now when we come back, even here, we have to create that file, because that link will be broken if we don't put it, and it will show us a problem when we try to run it. When I come online now and I click here, you see object not found, because we didn't create this file tz.html. So we have to create it. So just come here, new file, save it, just say tz.html and click OK. So if we come and copy this, let's use the same content and say DOM tz and save. In the secondary school, DOM tz. So when the file now we put it there and you refresh here, you see just secondary school DOM tz. When I click here, go back home. Now I have DOM Kenya, DOM tz. Those are two links now. So if I click on DOM Kenya, it takes me to DOM Kenya. If I click go back home, I come back here. If I click DOM tz, it takes me to DOM tz. If I click here, go back here, it takes me to the home page. Let's continue. Those are the links. So you can also create a link that goes onto a website. For example, you want someone to go to your Facebook page, want someone to go to your Twitter account. It's also the same approach. All you need to do, you just change what is in here. For example, let's say someone wants to go to my Facebook page, just say A. Here now we put the full link of Facebook. It's HTTPS. You have to put a full link, because if you don't put a full link, it will not work. HTTPS facebook.com/ let's say Xinja.Israel. Now you put here like maybe my Facebook. Okay, now when you come back to, we put it onto which page? You have to know we put it on tz. So I come and I look for tz and I see here my Facebook. So if I click here, it will take me to where? Facebook. But the format of the link was wrong. I see it has to be right. So it is HTTPS. This is the standard. As you can see here in our tutorial, it has to be like a standard, a fully qualified website. So I refresh. If I click here now, you see it has loaded, but Facebook is blocked currently, so it will not load. But it can take me now to the web page. And also you can want to stay here, but it opens a link in another tab here, rather than removing you from your content. So you just add one small attribute here. You just say target is equal to, you just say blank or new. Are we together? You just say target is equal to blank or new. So when you say target is equal to new, it will open another window on the side. You just say my Facebook. You see it has opened it here, and in here I've stayed with my content. Let's continue. We looked at the lists, how we can create lists and how we can order them. We looked at an ordered list. Now let's take a look at an ordered list. We looked at ordered list. And now let's take a look at an ordered list. An ordered list is it's a normal list like any other list, but they differ. Because here I see we have ordered list. So now let's put here our unordered list here. So an ordered list syntax, just say you an ordered list, the way you hear the word, but you abbreviate it UL. But inside it, you have to put list items. List item number one will just say maybe cabbage. List number two, list item number two, you can say maybe cucumber. Okay, so now let's run our home page. We see, you can see ordered list. So we also, in the previous video, we looked at how we can customize this with our style. So you can say style. Okay, we can say maybe, anyway, let's first leave the styling. Let's first know how to create these elements. So that's how we can create an ordered list. Sometimes you need to understand when you need these elements and how when you are going to use them. Because as we go ahead, we are going to be reusing these same features to develop our systems. Let's keep looking through them slowly by slowly as we understand them together. Okay. So more on an order list, you say you can see type is equal to shape attribute. I will change the type of the bullet list. When you say type is equal to circle, it will put a circle, which is the default. Empty round, a square, it will put take a box. A disk, it will put a solid disk round bullet, which is the default value, which the one that is there, this one. So if we say type is equal to like square, it will put a square. We can just say, can type it here, type is equal to square. You see what it does there. You see it has made them square, these lists here. Okay, let's continue ahead. Creating larger text areas, that's too far, we've moved far. So we are here. So as we go ahead, you keep getting this concept slowly by slowly, because we are going to be reusing this day and day, day and night, day and day, day and night, day and day, day and night. So sometimes you reach on a website, says, oh, welcome, please log in, enter your username, enter your password, and it gives you what to type. Now those ones, we call them text boxes. It's where you can type anything. Okay, so let's take a look, because the style of it, the format of it, you have to input, that's the element, that's the attribute of what type, then the value of it, its name, the value, this is what the user will do, what type. Now, so it has many attributes. You can give it size, you can give it a maximum length, so that to limit someone on how many digits type in there. But for now, let's look at the what? At the basic input field where you can type. So we have seen it, you just put input, okay? It gives you the type and the name. So we just say type, here we want text, okay? The name, we just say maybe username, okay? So if we save this and we just say in front here, we'll just write the word username. Okay, so if we come here and refresh our web page, as you can see down here, we have where to type. I can say username, you see. So here you can, as well as we see break, because you see it has gone in the same line, you can now use a break element, so that it goes to another line. Now you see, we can as well, if we see there's more space, we can just add more break if we need, and it gives us what? Another space there. So you can now reuse all these. So if it's a username, now here you can copy this, okay, paste it there. Maybe this is like, for example, the password. But here you remember the type has to change also, because this is a username, it's just words. Password, you shouldn't type a password when someone is seeing it. So here you just say password. It's predefined. The browser will understand it. As we said, the browser will interpret all these tags according to the World Web Standards. So the name, will call it password. So now this one will be interpreted as a password. For example, you can see the username has come, but the password, you can't see it. Even if I do what? Okay, you can't see it. Now you can see text box attributes. So the attributes, you can add text box. We have seen the name, that's the name of the attribute. The value, that's what someone will type in, or something you want to be there. Size, that's the box in the characters in the box. The maximum length, that means maximum number of characters someone can type there. If you want a phone number that shouldn't exceed 10 digits, you use that max length. So now you can see we have created our example text box. So when you see now, this one used first name, last name, and here is the output. According to what we see here, we already have this output here, but we used username and password. Creating larger text areas. There's a scenario whereby you come and you write a big article and you can't write it in a small text field. So there we use a tag called text area. Okay, so where n is the height of the text, you see, n rows, how many lines, like rows, and we know that rows, then columns. Okay, so now let's take this one to our source code. So we just come here, we put it below this. So we want to change this to the standard rows. We want, let's say, to write 8 of them. Column span, like in the side, we want like 10 also, and we remove all that. So we have our text area ready to print. Okay, so the name of the text area, we can say this is the article. We are going to keep advancing this way by so at the end of this course we should be having a clear working system that will be, you'll be like, yeah, I'm a genius. Okay, now you can see we have our text area. You can resize it, so you can write as many words as you feel like in this, which is not the case with this. You see, this one can be smaller and it doesn't give you a nice a nice interface whereby you can write all the things you need. Okay, you can see how it's keeping going down slow by slow. You can press enter, continue, press enter, continue, which is not the case with the other one up there. Let's continue. Example text area, we have seen that, we have put that like let's say it's the article, as we had put it up like article. This is comments. So text area, comments, that's the name, the number of rows you need on it, the number of columns, those are the characters you need type per line, and you want it to wrap according to the words, so the words will trim themselves. We also have something they call radio buttons. So a radio button, this can be used in a scenario whereby you have like two options. Let's say you want to choose between maybe sex, let's say male, female. So there you can use a radio button or a checkbox. Okay, So these ones are used in scenarios where you have two options and you want to choose one. So you can see example here. Let's take this there. We just say here, we call this one about us. Okay. So when we come here, let's continue. We say this one is sex. Okay. We just say male, female, or rather not say. Okay. So when you come and save that and you come this side and refresh, you still have male, female, rather not say. Okay. So this one is used in a scenario whereby there are different scenarios that come out in a selection and someone can choose either one, can choose only one of those. So it helps in data control. So if it's sex, it can't be both male and female. So either choose female or male, or just say rather not say. So that's why radio buttons come into play, and we are going to be using them as we go ahead. But this is how you write radio button. Input type is equal to radio. The name is size. So here this is sex, right? Male, female, rather not say. Okay. So we continue ahead with our introduction tutorial. We also hinted on checkbox. Checkbox can also work as radio buttons, but for them we can even give you a scenario whereby someone can choose many. Let's say which courses do you take? You can say I take programming, I take web coding, I also take multimedia and design. So you can choose multiple. That's where checkboxes can come in play. So we can choose this. Okay. So we come and drop it there. So you say input, or this is the element. Okay. What do you want? Which element of which type? It's a checkbox. So which checkbox? You name it. Okay, we can say course. That's the name of our checkboxes. Course. Okay, course. Okay, then the value. This is the value. When someone ticks red, so that will be the value. You just say web coding, for example. Now we should say web coding, because now this is what will be displayed for the user. This is the value of what will be contained in that. Okay, we just say multimedia, and here we come and also say multimedia. We come here, we say, of course, we just say now this one is networking. Okay, now also here say networking. We save. So here we can name this course. So we refresh here, we see how it's looking. You can see here course. Let's use our break tags so that we can have some neat work. That's where this Gundi come in. So that we can have an arranged work. So introduce here break. Okay, just arrange this. So also arrange that. Now we can see we have, as we came, username, password, about us. So also arrange here, we put a break so that it goes on the line below. About. So 6. Now the course, this is the checkbox we are talking about. So you can choose multiple. Okay, you can choose multiple. That's where the checkbox can come in play, where you have a multiple selection of items. So now we have seen checkboxes, we have seen how we could create them, and here are the attributes. You can have its value and its label, which is you can see its value is multimedia and its label, it's multimedia as well. It's web coding and its value is web coding, as we can see in the source code here. Value, label, value, label, value, label. Okay, that's the example there. So there's also where you can create drop downs. These are called selects. So with the drop down, it's where you can choose among different values. For example, which is your favorite fruit? Okay, so you can choose among different values. You just choose one in a list of many. Okay, so if we just say, ask that question, for example, here, which is your favorite, maybe subject. What's your favorite subject? Just say web design, science, geography. Okay, so we can see the select, that's can call it a drop down, but in implementation it's called a select statement. It can take name as an attribute and name it subject. Okay, then the value comes with different options. Okay, comes with different options. So let's save and run our system. We see, you can see which is our favorite subject. Then it's a drop down: web design, science, geography. Okay, so to have some network, that's where styling comes in with break statements, new lines, emphasis, so that you can have some network. We are going to go deep into this, don't worry guys. So web design, which is your favorite subject. Okay, which is your favorite subject? Web design. Okay, for today, for this video, let's first stop at that. As we are going to advance more, we look at how we can style this, the more, how we can see more into checkboxes, how we can style them, how we can create more radio buttons, how we can create more text areas, and how we can style them, how we can create more text boxes, how we can add more attributes to them, like the maximum length, the size, the values, how we can create order lists and unordered lists in detail, how we can send send email using links, creating more links and menus. So in the next video, we are going to go more deep into these tags we have seen today. All right, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and subscribe to our channel, share and invite friends. As well, visit the website for all the course content, and as well registering, because we are offering a certificate after the end of this course by which will be signed by all our partners, including MUBS. So guys, register and subscribe. This course is out for you. Thank you.